guys, thank you for clicking and welcome to my channel. This is That African Nurse. I am a registered nurse, a registered ICU nurse, and I work in the USA. And this channel I bring to you nursing related content and sometimes lifestyle related content. Today we're going to be having a little bit of a nursing related content. We're going to discuss the pros and cons of nursing, the field of nursing, the pros and cons. We are in the middle of a pandemic, so that aside, we're going to discuss the pros and cons of nursing. I know a lot of people probably be just graduating nursing school around this time or about to start nursing school around this time. So I'm going to just be looking down my phone and I'm going to talk about quickly the pros and cons. We're going to start with quickly 7 pros of nursing. So the top pro, in my opinion, in my book, is that providing care and support and love to people. It's a service industry. You're always serving people. If you get fulfillment by things like that, then for sure you're providing care, you're providing support, you're providing love. Nurses work in all aspects. They see the birth of an individual to the death of an individual. So in either of those aspects, you're providing supportive care. So that's my number 1 pro. My number 2 pro is there is always a job for you. Job security. We literally can get a job anytime, anywhere, especially if you are an experienced nurse. Sometimes if you're a new nurse, you might have a little bit of a bump in the road, but once you've got like your 1 year or 2 year experience in, it's typically a little bit easier for you to get a job compared to other industries. So there's always going to be a job for you. There's always going to be people, always going to be nurses. So that's always a pro. My third pro is you can always scale up your income. Not that nurses make a lot, but there are ways around it. You can always do travel nursing. If you feel like this month I'm gonna need $1,000 more compared to last month, or something is happening, you can always pick up an extra shift or 2 here and there. Nursing is so flexible. You can get a PRN job. You can always scale up your income. You can go from one hospital to another and negotiate a higher pay. So it's just amazing how once you've got your feet wet, once you've got your experience, literally you can scale up your income anytime. It's not the easiest of job, but it's possible. Versatility of nursing, that would be my, what number are we on? Number 4. We're going to talk about the versatility of nursing. Like I said in the beginning, nurses are there from the birth of an individual to the death of an individual. So there's so many things within the lifespan. There's so many places where we can fall. You don't always have to do bedside nursing. You can do case management. You can do home health. You can actually, these days there are nurses who are into IT. There's so many things you can do as a nurse. The career is so versatile. So if you feel like, oh my god, nursing is not for me, if you feel like you started out as a nurse and you're like, oh, I hate this, it's not for me, hang in there, because you can always dip your feet in many waters and find the right warm water for you. Or the right water, I don't know if you like warm water, whatever, the right water for you. Another thing I love, and so this is number 5. Another thing I love about nursing, another pro of nursing, is that if you just work your regular shift, most nurses, especially bedside nurses, can get away with a short work week. Most places, most facilities, most states in the US would let their nurses work a 12-hour shift. If you work a 12-hour shift, you work 3 days a week. If you don't want to pick up an extra shift, if you don't want to do anything extra, you just want to do your basics, you can work Monday, you can work Tuesday, you can work Wednesday, you can have the rest of the week off, depending on your scheduler and your facility. Most places I have worked, I've been privileged enough to say, okay, I want my schedule block scheduled. So even if you want me to work the weekends, I can work Friday, Saturday, Sunday and have the rest of the days off. I can work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and have the rest of the days off. Most places will let you do that, and so that is why I love nursing. a lot of the times you are able to plan a trip and not even request time off, because you can block schedule at the start of 1 week and then you can block schedule at the end of 1 week. So that leaves you a span of days where you can go on your vacation and come back and not even have to take time off work. Isn't that great? So I love nursing just because of that, the scheduling and the work week. Six. Nursing is one field where we are constantly learning, and for me, I think that's one of the reasons why I love nursing, because I kind of love learning. You know, things change a lot in nursing. The procedures, the protocols change, the way we do things, it's always evolving. We're always learning. I feel like there are some careers where once you've kind of known it, you've known it, and there's no new like learning. Nursing, like on a daily, literally, I don't think there's ever a time where I go to shift and I don't learn something. There's always something new to learn. It's like unending learning. It's like amazing. You're always learning, and so that's, I, in my opinion, count that as one of the pros of nursing. The last one, number 7, is that you, like I said, you are always learning, so you are highly knowledgeable. Typically, most nurses, if you're a good nurse and if you're due diligent, you are typically a very knowledgeable person, and I think that's a pro, to be knowledgeable. Alright, so if you've watched up until this point of my video, thank you for still staying. Please be sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe. Now we're gonna go to the cons of nursing. So what are the cons of nursing? Number 1 con, I feel like nurses are highly undervalued. The best way to say this is, like, even in the medical profession, you could sometimes, you would have a concern. So many times I've had this experience. I have a concern for a patient and I'm trying to tell the doctor, this is why I'm worried, or the provider or somebody, this is why I'm worried. Like, yeah, what do you know, you're just a nurse. Like, we're really undervalued, and most of the time my concerns turn out to be true. I was worried, but the doctor dismissed me. Also individuals too, like even patients. Sometimes you talk to a patient, you give them an advice, you tell them, you know, this is what I feel like you should do, this is my recommendation to you, and they're like, oh no, I want to talk to the doctor because you were just a nurse. And sure enough, the doctor comes in and the doctor says the exact same thing. So like, sometimes I feel like we're undervalued. A lot of the time we are underpaid. Like I said in the beginning, you can always scale up your income, but we are undervalued, so therefore we are underpaid. That is my opinion, and I've had many nurses agree with that. So that's one of the cons. A second con is nursing is a very, very high stress environment. Oh my goodness. And I said before in the beginning, I'm an ICU nurse, so like literally my patients are typically like on the dying, like we are trying to pull them back from the light, like don't go to the light, come back here. So they are on typically multiple medications, multiple pressures, they're intubated, they are like, you have to always critically think, and sometimes that can be a high stress environment. That can be bad if you don't have ways to manage your stresses outside of work, and then you find yourself taking your stresses back home to your family, and you're stressed. Now you find yourself being a mean person or a grumpy person, or you're always short. Someone says something and you snap. And in the beginning of nursing, in my career, honestly, I experienced that. It took me a while to realize, like, whoa, this is what's happening. So I take time. There are times when I step back. There are times when I take planned vacation. I take weeks out at a time. There are times when I really know, like, okay, I want to work an extra shift, I need the money, but my mental health is bad because of the stress. It's a high stress environment. Number 3, because it's a high stress environment, it's a high burnout career. A lot of people start out nursing and sometimes by year 4 they are done. Typically this is specific to bedside nursing. They start out bedside nursing and by year 4, year 5, year 6 they're like done, or they have an injury so they cannot continue working bedside, or they cannot work bedside as long as they used to. So sometimes nursing can be a high burnout career. Like I said, also another con is long shift. You work long shifts. It can be a pro, it can be a con. You work 12-hour shifts, sometimes you work 16-hour shifts, just depending. So yeah, it can be good because you get your days, you work your days, you're off, you enjoy the rest of your week if you do block scheduling. I'm speaking for myself because I block schedule. I work my days and then I take the rest of the week off if I'm allowed. So you typically work long shifts. You're there at 7 and you leave at 7 a.m. you leave at 7 p.m. or you're there at 7 p.m. and sometimes you leave at 7 a.m. 8 a.m. like you work typically very long shift. And my next point, number 5, is that nursing is physically demanding, and so that ties to the burnout, because a lot of people burn out because of how physically demanding it is. Also the stress, also the emotions, but it's also physically demanding. America has one of the highest rate of obesity, and so when the patient comes in and they are obese and they are 500-600 pounds but they can't move, they're on a ventilator, they're on life support, they are on multiple medications, we still have to take care of them. We still have to move them up the bed, we still have to turn them, we still have to make sure they don't have skin breakdown. You're moving heavy people, you're moving heavy objects, you're always on your feet, so the chances of you getting an injury if you're not using the proper mechanism is pretty high. And I guess we are on number 6. You get a high exposure to pathogens. Now let's forget the pandemic. The pandemic all aside, before the pandemic, we still were at high risk of getting exposed to random things. I can't tell you how many times I got a patient. I worked the night shift typically. I cannot tell you how many times I got a patient. This is pre-pandemic, so we didn't used to wear masks pre-pandemic. You just went in typically, and I'm in the patient phase, I'm doing my assessment, I'm listening to long heart sounds, asking questions, and then I come back the next day and oh, guess what, my patient has TB. And I'm like, I was in there for 12 hours without a mask, without a protection. Now all of a sudden they have tuberculosis. So tuberculosis is an airborne disease, so obviously the chance of me getting it is high. There was a time when I had a patient and she had a rash, and I was like, this rash looks weird, and I obviously had gloves, but I still touched it. I was like, oh yeah, this is weird. And then 2-3 days later we found out that the rash was shingles. So see, you get exposed to pathogens. So now let's not even bring the pandemic into it. That is a whole nother story for a whole nother video. So even when the pandemic goes, you're still gonna be a high risk of exposure to pathogens because you never know what these patients are coming in with. So hopefully this idea of us wearing a mask kind of sticks, because that's actually good, not for the general public but for us in the hospital. I know some people are gonna chew me out, but think about it. There's so many times where you walk into rooms and you don't know what the patient has, and then all of a sudden a day later or 2 days later you've been exposed to something. If you had a mask, that would be, especially for airborne diseases, that would be a good protection. At least it would give you some barrier of protection. And my very last con, number 7, is nurses endure a lot of workplace violence, and it's scary. Like, we really need to talk more about this. We really need to shed more light on it, because I don't know of any career, maybe except for people in the military and police officers, where you're going into work and you don't know if today it's going to be the day you get kicked in the face or in the chest, or the day you get spat on, or the day you get slapped. And I'm telling you, all of these things have been attempted or done to me by a patient. Sometimes the patients, they are not with it. But I've had patients who are complete 100% in their right mind kick me in the chest, like a grown full-on 30-something-year-old man knows what he's doing, but he's just so irritable, so violent, and he kicks me. I've had people try to spit on me. It's crazy. And there have been instances in my workplace of people getting like beat up. Like, it's just like the job, like there is workplace violence and like no other job. Like, we are exposed to a lot, and sometimes these individuals are completely with it. Granted, you are sick, and when you're sick you're a little bit irritable and you're not 100% your normal self. Doesn't give you the right to kick me though. Like, doesn't give you the right to spit on me, doesn't give you the right to try and hit me or to try and touch me. Like, so yeah, hopefully I have not discouraged someone from becoming a nurse. Every job has its pros and has its cons. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. I just shared with you 7 pros of nursing and 7 cons of nursing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms, and I'll be back at you again with another video. Thank you, and have a good day.